the bolts that go up to the clutch sleeve. And these are the washers that came off of it. And I looked at it and said, boy, they look really flat, this one. And then naturally, you count 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I lost one. So what I did was, I took one of these bolts. Naturally, they're too long. They might have fit anyway, but I didn't want to chance it. So I cut one down to that, and then I just put the hacksaw to it, and then I had a die. That worked out pretty good. But now, if you look at this one closely, this is the original. You can see how flat that is, and this is a new one, and you can see how nice the wave is. Maybe not so much on the yeah, that's pretty much what. That's the old. That's a new wave washer. I found this kit on Amazon for 12 bucks. You know, I don't know if there's a part number to it. Yep, the part number. Anyway, there's a kit on Amazon. I don't know if that's it there. You can read it yourself. So I got new wave washers basically. And then the other stuff that you are gonna go have nuts over is that stupid gasket material for the clutch sleeve going on to the transmission. Now I spent 5 hours, I'm sure, trying to figure out what type of gasket maker to use. There's all types. This stuff here is the stuff you want. It's 51813. Now you ask, why do you want to use this? Me being just a backyard mechanic who never went to automotive school in his life. Because this stuff here is designed for aluminum. The other gasket maker, you can use it, but it pits aluminum. Don't ask me how I found that out, but I did. When you go to the website for this number 51813, it even says in there that it won't pit aluminum. So this is the stuff you want, or you can do what I did, spend 5 hours trying to figure out what you want to use. So, alright. Alright, I don't know if you can see this, but I hope you can. This here is a guide. And if you look down at the bolt diameter, 5, 6, 10, 12, that M6 is not the socket size. It's actually the bolt size, you know, where the threads are. So you gotta have that micrometer that I use. That's what you use. And then along the top here you see these numbers. These are stamped onto the head. So in my application, or our application for those little bolts, they're actually M6. And like I said, they'll take a 10 millimeter socket. And you come over here, they're 8.8s. So that's 10 Newton meters that would torque these down to. I don't know if you want to save this somewhere for all the other sizes. That's the only reason why I keep this book that I sold the car on. So I always have that. It's just so much handier. I'll scan over this so you can read it. Yeah, let's see where you start at. Come over here. And then there's the picture above it. Turn the page. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. That's what happened when I put it on. I didn't line up that oil return. Idiot. There's some torques. I went ahead and ran, put that on there. I was seeing on the internet people, mechanics, and my mechanic that did my valve job, he said he just puts it on with his finger and spreads it around. Well, when I was putting it in, I was taking them up to 10 Newton meters, and I couldn't get this guy to tighten, and I kept tightening and tightening it slowly. I started at 6 Newton meters. Here, you can see I have it welded now. Here, the little lip right there cracked off on me, so I had to take it up to the welder. And then after I put it on, I said, you know what, did you ever check to see if it had a seal on the inside? Check it out, no seal. So I was, it's just one thing after another. So I got to put a seal in here. This is the brand new one, by the way. Now I don't have this in. What I did was I did a trial run because, as you noticed from yesterday, somehow that lip broke off, which I got welded. But I want to show you something here. So here's the washer I took out. That was, hold on, bear with me, sorry about that. There's the curve. And the one that I took out, look how flat that thing got. I'm not like, what the hell's that all about? Now there's a Porsche, I mean, one off the BMW. You can see it's still got the wave in it. So, that's my buddy's CUDA. What I did was I ordered some alloy steel wave washers, and I compared that to the stainless steel. The alloy wave washers or aircraft grade wave washers. So I'm waiting for that to come in. But what I wanted to show you here was when you do these things, see, you take before you put this all together, take your screws, your bolts, and make sure they go in all the way. I thought I did mine all the way, but they go that far and then they would just hang. And here there was that doping in there. And what you had to do, you'll see what happens. Just go ahead and screw all your bolts in and make sure that they go in all the way. You had to clean that. It took me a good hour and a half to clean that. So what I ended up doing was, I had that spray can in here. So I'd be in here spraying it, getting the stuff out of it, and then backing it up with brake cleaner, and then taking my, you can see how dirty my, look at all the dirt in there from doing the bolts, and then taking my, well, I don't know. I think this might be it. Taking this guy. Now, when you put him in, when you put him in here, he doesn't go in all the way. So don't force it in there when you're tightening and let it go as far as it goes, because then you're going to end up snapping that. So what I did was I turned this in all the way as far as it would go. Then I would blow it out, do this, and then finally, this bolt would actually press through the old sealant that was on the bolt. I don't know what kind of doping it was, but it's here. You can look at it in here if it's still there. See that? I don't know what kind of doping that was. Sealant, but that stuff was down inside the threads. And if you want to go ahead and strip your thread, there's aluminum in here. You go ahead and you just keep tightening them. Now look at that, how nice they go in. And if you notice, see where that hole is? It's down here. You would think it goes over here because there's an extra hole over here, but the oil return line is here. And initially I had this hole over here to begin with too, and I should have put the gasket in it though. But like I said, I just I've been waiting for those washers to come in. See, look how flat that was. Hold on. Yeah, it just smushed them like a pancake. Not so sure how this will turn up. I did an experiment on these wave washers because I noticed when I took my guide sleeve off, the washer was flat. So I sent those back, but I kept one. Now the one on the right is the one I sent back. That was a stainless steel. The one on the left, I torqued down to 10 Newton meters, as I did on the one on the right, with my torque wrench on a bolt on a right here. Put it on the vise. Yep, can't see it that well, but you get the idea. The one on the left, sorry about the camera move. You can see it survived 10 Newton meters. And the one on the right, which was a kit from Amazon, did not. This is the box that the kit survived in. And I used these before, and there we go. Those guys on Amazon, they're like $5 too. They give you like 100 of them. Those survive being crushed down to 10 Newton meters. Now the other kit that I wanted to try was this guy here. And when I go open it up, the idiots, they didn't send me any M6s. Go figure. But so to do this jar properly, you want to get those. I just was looking for the putting the grease on the shaft, and I came across this outer section. This is back on that oil seal, so you want to read this. You can hit pause. I mean, I'll hold it here because when I hit pause, everything goes blurry. You on my computer. This is the, what is it, the 250? Now they're showing this as a 240, but I don't know, it doesn't look like a 240 to me. See, pry out the old seal, lubricate the new seal with oil and drive into place. Don't mow the housing. We're removing the old one. Clean the mounting bolts and sealing surface of the guide sleeve. Yeah, make sure that the groove of the sleeve is aligned with the oil bore. We know that. But here, this is the part that I missed. Number 6, coat the bolt shoulders. Remember I was telling you about how the gasket material got onto the head section right there at the top with sealing compound, and install the bolts. But if you recall, when I put my schmuck around it, I went around all my bolts and everything. But they're saying to put a little bit of sealing compound on the bolts themselves. I'm not taking it apart to redo it. I'll cross my fingers on that. This is a 36. It's too big, okay? But the 35 fits it. And then you need a big hammer, and the book says to the shop manual says to put some oil around it. I just wanted to show you how I hit that one in. Let's see if I can shine this in the light. Maybe not. Hold on. I took my fingernail and go around the outside edge. Look at it closely. You can see a little bit of the old gasket material. Yours might have the same. If you recall the last time I did this, oh, that was the front main seal, by the way, not an O-ring. Like I said, never went to automotive school, so never talked to anybody about it, except for this video I'm making. Last time I put, where's my finger, a bead around it, and then when I took it apart, there was nothing there. And I remember the machinists, and I've seen the people on eBay, they just smirched it on with their fingers. So that's what I'm going to do this time. I just put on a blue glove and hit it with my index finger. This is stuff I was using. 51813. This is designed for aluminum. The other stuff pits aluminum. You have to put the transmission at an angle, otherwise the shims fall out on you. I forgot to put Loctite on them, so I backed them out again to put the Loctite. Come on, focus for me, focus. Look at the sealant gets on the thread. This is one of the cleaner ones. So I would suggest when you push them in, back them out, re-clean them, then put the Loctite on them. Because that sealant's going to be metal on metal, right? That's going to lock in your bolt. When you go to take it out next time, it's going to be more than 10 Newton meters to take that thing loose. This one here was hand tightened, and I needed to put the socket on it to take it off, because that red stuff just grabs onto it. So this one's clean, but if you look up at the top there, if you look closely, where'd that go? Huh. Anyway, I'll be back. It's down there somewhere. I started off at 5.65, then 7, then like 7.5, 8, 9, 9.5. And I noticed as I got further up the scale, the less the bolt turned. And when I went from like 9 to 10, it was already snug in place. I don't know if it's because of the accuracy of this wrench, you know, that I'm using. You know, the torque wrench or whatever. Anyway, so just walk it up. Don't set your meter right on 10 and torque it down, because you might be over torquing. You don't want to strip these guys. I spent 3 hours just working on this or more, getting this ready to go in. So it's in. And this time with me schmucking it, oh, I don't have a light, but there's less. You can see I don't even have to wipe it. Last time when I put a bead on it, I had to wipe. Yeah, there's no bead coming. You know, it didn't squeeze out. It's what I'm trying to say. It's kind of hard to see from there, but you get the idea what I mean. Let me see if I can zoom that in. See, look at that. Nothing. Anyway, so that part is done. Yeah, I just showing you the stuff that I used. It's the blocked medium strength thread locker blue. You want to be able to unscrew those down the road, so you just use medium strength. But like I was saying though, before I move on, with that sealant that I had in there, I had these all hand tightened. And then I was backing them out, because remember I told you I forgot to put the sealant on. By the time I got down to these guys here, I couldn't get them off by hand. I had to actually get in there with my socket and start loosening. So that red stuff really bites into it. If you get that red stuff down onto your threads, you know, that's going to be a sealant there too, because that's metal on metal. And when you go to loosen it, you know, you got to break that gasket or break the bowl or strip the threads out. So I figure I'd show you the stuff that I use to clean out the bolts. So I just use this I got that on Amazon. That's the air stuff. And then I had this on backup. The electronic dust, you know, like for keyboards and stuff. And then I just use that super cheap Walmart brake cleaner. That's how I cleaned out the bolts with the chemicals. So this is the fork. One thing I wanted to say on my way back here was when I replaced that front rear main, when I replaced the front seal, it said in the book, remember to put oil around the lip and inside the unit, which I did, just 30 weight oil. But I also put oil on the bottom of it without thinking about it. And I said, well, that ain't going to do me any good because that's not going to help it slide in, right? But what's neat about it is when you put the oil on the base unit of the seal, when you tap it all the way in, you know you get to the bottom, because just like the sleeve, you see the oil get compressed out. So when you see the oil getting compressed out of the seal, you know you're at the bottom. And if you don't see the oil coming out, then you got a little bit more to go. I just thought I'd point that out. So this is the original one here, and I don't know, I came out here in the sun, but this guy here looks fine, but this guy over here looks worn. And like I said, it's only 15,000 miles on it. So let me put the camera down. Just bear with me. I'll keep it rolling. So the top, the one that's worn, it's reading 25, 26, about 27 and a half. And the other side, it's also 27 and a half. So here's the new one. I'll turn this camera around. I don't know how it's looking. You know, not the best cameraman. Let me see what we're at here with the camera. So here's the new one. And let's see, you know. Oh yeah, look at that. I can't even slide the caliper over it. Let's see if I get on the side here. My caliper won't go across. So those forks do wear. And like I said, the fork was reading, come on, you can see it on the bottom there where that 0 is. You just count 25, 26, 27 and a half. Now I'll rescale it. It's easier to use the millimeters on this caliper. And now it's reading, let me set it down, 25, 26, 27, 28 and a half. So it did take down 1 millimeter. So that was 1 less millimeter of travel I had. And the inside ball, that looks pretty worn too. Sorry about the sun. Thought it'd be easier out in the sunlight so you could see it. I think it's worse. And here's what the new one looks like. You can see there's no rounding on it. See how nice that is? Now I don't know if I needed one of these, but that's stupid shipping and handling, so I figured I'd just order them now. They're not expensive. But if you're getting this far, I would go ahead and just order a new one of these. You won't regret it. There's the part number. Oh, I'm sorry, I got that fan turned on in the background. But that's the part number, or they call it a fork lever for the clutch release bearing.